want to be absolutely clear. I think we have to support Ukraine, and we have to constantly assess what is the best way to support Ukraine. We want stability, we want security, but we don't want Russia to win, because we know what it would mean if Russia would win, and that's why we have to support Ukraine. And there was this debate following the communication by Emmanuel Macron. We are on the same page. We want to support Ukraine, and I think that we will have to assess systematically what is needed. On my side, I don't want to tell more about that, and on the other hand, I think that it's also important not to give the impression to Vladimir Putin that he knows in advance what we will do and what we do not intend to do. Can I tell you, maybe this is a strange comment, but that I was surprised when, before the start of the full-scale invasion in the United States, they started to announce that they didn't intend to intervene in Ukraine. I was surprised, because I think it is better not to show to Russia what we are ready to do and what we are not ready to do. This is good that some countries, they have decided to make steps. I understand that for other countries, they need more time. And at least this is highlighting the importance to address this topic. And this is part of what will be needed in terms of making progress in that region. There is one priority for us. We have to do everything to end the war and to stop this humanitarian catastrophe. And we are engaging with the countries in the region, with all the interlocutors. We are doing our best. Point one. Point two, you're absolutely right that this matter is very difficult, because there are various sensitivities around the table of the Council. The member states, they have various opinions, but we managed to make a united position, which is a clear position. First, we want a ceasefire, an immediate ceasefire, and the release of all hostage. Point one. Point two, we want to provide more humanitarian aid. Point three, we want respect for the international humanitarian law, and we support the two-state solution. And yesterday, we were with the Palestinian Prime Minister, the new one, and we were discussing what we can do to provide more support for the Palestinian Authority. First, it's important not to forget that the European Council will not change with the European elections, and the European Council has a central role in preparing the next institutional cycle, with two goals. On the one hand, in June, after the European elections, we'll agree on the strategic agenda, which will be, in principle, the foundation of the next political program for this institutional cycle, point one. And point two, we have to appoint the team which will be in charge of the European Union. And that's why I know that this is traditional before the elections to be very worried because of the far right, or because of the extremist parties, etc. Let's wait for the outcome of the elections. Look, this is the challenge at the European level. Why? Because you have the member states and you have the European institutions. And this concept of cordon sanitaire is not the same in our member states. There are differences in our member states. And that's why we need to find the balance and to find the way for a stable majority in the European Parliament, point one. And I'm confident that there will be a stable majority in support of the strategic agenda. No double standards within the EU, and each member state has to be respected. And even when you do not share the position of one member state, you should try to understand what are the arguments, because it's the best way to find a solution, an innovative way to make a compromise. I was a bit, I don't know if I can say traumatized, but I remember when I was Prime Minister in Belgium, and where we faced this terrible migration crisis, the level of mistrust within the European Council was terrible. It was a catastrophe because it was very difficult to make decisions because there was a total lack of understanding, and this is something that I have not forgotten. And when I became President of the European Council, I knew that it was my task to make sure that even when there were different opinions around the table, that it was important to share the same level of intelligence, the same level of understanding, the same level of information, which is the basis for making decisions all together. And for that, this is better if there's an atmosphere of mutual respect around the table.
Tune in every day at 7:30 a.m., wherever you get your podcast, from May 28th.